Hi everybody, welcome to the Sichot HaRan Shiur. Today we're up to Sichot HaRan 191. So I'm really excited about the topic of this Shiur. We're going to talk all about obstacles and difficulties that come up, and Rebbe Nachman's going to give us advice for that. It's like a real Breslov Shiur, Breslov topic, it's a big one. Okay, so here we go. Sichot HaRan 191. The Rebbe once came inside and said, "What do you do when a great mountain of fire stands before you? A very great treasure lies on the other side. The treasure cannot be reached without passing through this fiery mountain, and you've no choice but to reach the precious treasure." After several days, the Rebbe spoke about this again. He said, "It had already been revealed to me what must be done in such a case." So Rebbe Nachman says, he's saying that the entire world is this fiery mountain. We're put here in this world on planet Earth, whether we asked for it, whether we didn't ask for it, but we are here passing through this fiery mountain, and this great treasure lies on the other side. And we have no choice. We have no choice. We have to live our lives, and we have to go through this fiery mountain. And I love this analogy because so many times life feels like not just a mountain, but a fiery mountain. Like it's intense. It's intense. And Rebbe Nachman's, he's really validating that point of the suffering and the difficulties that happen here. But he's saying on this other side, like there is this precious treasure. It's like we have to remember that Hashem actually created this world out of his chesed, out of his kindness. And it does. It looks like a fiery mountain, but it's really all to give us the greatest reward. So I wanted to take this piece into like the obstacles that we face throughout our life, because and the obstacles in our personal lives and the obstacles with Avodas Hashem, Rebbe Nachman's going to talk about, because we all know we're all going through this fiery mountain together. And we all know all these difficulties that come up. And let's see how Rebbe Nachman approaches this. So we're going to do Sichot HaRan number 11 now. Happy are we, for God has been good to us and given us the holiness of Judaism. So even just that first line, so great, right? Like, we're lucky. Asher Yoshvi Vesecha, lucky are we that we're Jewish and that we're here in this, and that Hashem chose to make us Jewish and gave us that tzchus. The Rebbe said, "I have a great joy simply because I was worthy of being in the land of Israel." So I purposely wanted to bring in this sikha also because, at times we're in one of these Iranian wars right now, and just to give like everybody chizuk who's here, right? Like the Rebbe said, "I have great joy simply because I was worthy of being in the land of Israel," and it definitely feels like a fiery mountain right now. The Rebbe's voyage to the Holy Land involved much confusion and many frustrations and obstacles, including money. Nevertheless, he overcame all barriers and attained his goal of walking in the Holy Land. He said, "I believe this and understand it fully well. Every movement, every thought, and every effort made for the sake of doing something holy is never wasted." And that's a big line there. Rebbe Nachman saying that, first let me just recap it a bit. So when the Rebbe's voyage to the Holy Land, like it involved, like he says, so much confusion and so much frustrations and obstacles. In Breslov, they call it miniyas or miniyot, including money. So, anyone who's made Aliyah can tell you that all these things happen, including money, Nevertheless, Rebbe Nachman overcame all these barriers and he attained his goals. And he said all his thoughts, every movement, every effort that he showed to make this happen, it wasn't wasted. It all went to help him. When you want to do something holy, at first you are confused and unsure. You are standing on the balance, deciding whether or not to do it, and barriers seem to be springing up on every side. I feel like that's also like the tkufa of when you're engaged, you know, like you're about to do something so holy and all these barriers are standing in front of you. But when you're worthy of completing the task, your every movement, your every thought, and even the confusion you had in completing this deed are all marked for good. They are lifted on high and made into very holy and exalted things. Fortunate is the one who is worthy of breaking down all the barriers and completing each holy task. So, you know, I love this. I love the lesson here because I actually heard this from Brene Brown. Like, I think so many times, you know, like we want to protect ourselves from falling and we want to protect our children from falling. But like, it's really best just to like go through life and try and fall and fail and then like learn and pick yourself up from there. Like, we're so much more resilient than we think we are. And Rebbe Nachman's teaching us here, like, even more than that, like nothing you ever did is wasted. All these efforts to try and be a better person, to try and do better, like it's never wasted. It all counts for something and it's all going to come to help you. And this piece has so much chizah because so many times we try to do something and we fail time and time again. Like I yelled again at my kids about the same thing, or that's the example that comes into mind right now, right? Like so many times we just fail at the same things over and over again. But again, like every time that I like held my breath even for 1 second longer, like that counts. It counts for something. And every time I had a thought to not yell at them again, that counts for something too. Okay, so now Sichot 79. Sichot HaRan 79. When one begins to truly serve Hashem and attach himself to a great tzaddik, one is often filled with great confusion and evil thoughts. The evil was always there, but only now it is surfacing. A pot of water may seem perfectly clear, but when it is placed on a fire and begins to boil, all its impurities are brought to the surface. One must stand by and constantly remove these impurities. So Rebbe Nachman's giving us an amazing mashal here. He's saying, the second a person starts to do anything, you know, in the realms of Kedusha, like often like you're filled with great confusion and all these like evil thoughts and triggers and tendencies come out that you might not have ever known they were even there. But the second you like start to attach yourself to goodness, like all this stuff comes out. And Rebbe Nachman says, like, he's comparing it to a pot that's placed on a fire, and when it begins to boil, like all the impurities were always there, but they're just like coming to the top under the fire. And it's like when you're under the fire, everything starts to shake up and everything starts to happen, and all these impurities come out. The original purity is sorry. Here we go. The original purity is merely an illusion. So I love that also. With a little heat, the impurity surfaces, right? Like it looks like, you know, like from the surface, yeah, it looks like it's pure. It's perfect water. But just like yet a little bit of heat, a little bit of fire on this fiery mountain that we're in, right? And all the impurity surfaces. But when these impurities are removed, the water is truly pure and clear. The same is true of a person. Before he begins to serve Hashem, good and evil are completely mixed together within him. The impurities are so closely united with the good that they cannot be recognized. Then this person comes close to a true tzaddik and begins to burn with great feeling toward Hashem. He's touched by the heat of purification, and all the evil and impurities come to the surface. Here again, one must stand by and constantly remove the dirt and impurities as they appear. Right? Like the second, so it's the same, it's true about a person also. Like the second this heat of purification hits you, then all this evilness and impurities, they come to the surface. Like you're like, I always thought I was like an amazing person. Like I didn't realize that like I struggled with this so much and I struggled with that so much, and it all comes to surface. Purification requires this period of agitation and confusion. It's the same thing when people go to therapy, right? Like so many times things get worse before it gets better. In the beginning, a person is totally immersed in the material. He then begins to come close to Hashem. It would seem possible to remove this dirt and impurity at once from those who abandon material pursuits and begin to serve Hashem. But the person's mind is completely intermingled with this mire. Were it to be removed immediately, his mind would be drawn out with it. Therefore, one must be purified little by little in gradual stages. So I love that last line also. Like, I love this last little message, not little, this last message that Rebbe Nachman's telling us. He's saying, like, don't think that you can even get through this and just, like, remove all these impurities so quickly. Like, you can't. Your mind is, like, this evil, good and evil is intermingled in your mind. And if you just, like, pull out all this evil, then your mind is going to be drawn out with it. Like, there'll be nothing left. Like, this has to be, like, a gradual process, like, slowly climbing the ladder, falling, climbing the ladder, falling, climbing the ladder up 2 rungs, you know? And this is the way it's meant to be. And this is the way that Rebbe Nachman is telling us that we need to do it. And just, I heard Rav Shlomo Katz, like, it just reminded me of these 2 pieces about Eretz Yisrael and about this boiling pot that, like, I might misquote him, but along these lines, like he was saying, like, it's so many of us, like, here in Eretz Yisrael, like, we do feel like we're being, like, purified for Mashiach. It hasn't stopped, you know? It hasn't stopped, and it still keeps on going. And, you know, like, I heard him say, like, he's like we're trying to, like Hashem is, like, ripping the gullus, like, from us, like, just ripping it out from us, you know? And it definitely, I think a lot of us could relate to that. Okay, so now I wanted to bring in Likutei Moharan, Tanina 46. Okay, I'm just gonna dive right in. Okay, soul sacrifice is something each Jew does every hour of every day. Right? Soul sacrifice. Mesiras nefesh, right? It's something that each Jew does every hour of every day. And I think, like, you know, thank God, like, our observant lives, like, they're very full. Every minute, really, there's, like, a responsibility. You know, like, how many times have I gone on vacation without kids and just, like, really got teared up thinking about, like, how much I do, and it's not just me. I can name a gazillion people, but, like, how much, like, I do every day, you know, and, like, it's a lot. Thank God Hashem should continue to give me strength, you know, but I'm a mom, so I'm gonna just use that example. But just, you know, like, get, you know, the carpools, the packing the lunches, all that stuff that so many of us do. And plus, like, just leading this religious life, like, before Shabbos, you know, like cooking, like, who knows how much, you know? And again, thank God Hashem should continue to give me strength and everyone else strength, and we should do all these mitzvahs with joy. But point is Rebbe Nachman, again, is just validating this. Like, Mesirat, soul sacrifice, being Musar Nefesh, right? It's something each Jew does every hour of every day. And an example of this is giving one's money to charity. Money is the soul, for he gives his soul for it, from Devarim. In other words, to earn the money, he first sacrifices his soul in the struggles and dangers, right? Like, for somebody, tzedakah is, like, also a perfect example of this, right? Like, it's not easy to make a buck, right? Yet afterwards, he takes the money and gives it away for the sake of God. It's really high. It follows that he is sacrificing his soul. The same is true of prayer. In Midrash HaNe'elam from the Zohar, we find that, prayer is the concept of, in quotes, for your sake we are slain all day long, from Tehillim, i.e. soul sacrifice. It takes great struggle and great battle with the thoughts and distractions and stratagems to flee and escape them. Concerning this, it is stated, for your sake we are slain, as brought in the Midrash Hanelam. It follows that this and similar things are soul sacrifice. So Rebbe Nachman saying, like, even like heartfelt tefillah and really like trying to be focused and pay attention during tefillah, that totally counts as soul sacrifice. And no, each person has obstacles in service of the Creator. May his name be blessed, such as traveling to the true tzaddik and the like. And each person imagines that his obstacles are greater than his fellows and that it is difficult to endure them, right? Like it's so, Rebbe Nachman saying here, that each person has these obstacles. Each person goes through manias when it comes to serving Hashem. And we all think that our struggles are worse than the guy next to us, right? And that's, these are like the tricks. These are the tricks of the mind. Like whatever you're in is the biggest deal. Like we have no choice but to dramatize what we're going through. At least it feels like we have no choice but to dramatize it. No. Rebbe Nachman saying no here, Each person's obstacles are only commensurate with his abilities according to what he can endure and handle, provided he wants to. So if Rebbe Nachman's saying, and he's drawing attention to this, if a person wants to, then he can endure and he can handle all these challenges. And in truth, there are no obstacles whatsoever because Hashem is included even in the obstacle itself, as explained elsewhere in Sichot HaRan, Torah 115. Oh, Rebbe Nachman's saying here, like, and the truth is that even though the mania, like the obstacle, looks like there's no way to pass it, and like Hashem is not here in this obstacle, it's just like something horrible that's happening. Rebbe Nachman's saying, actually, it's not even a real obstacle because Hashem is enclosed in this obstacle. Hashem is in it. He's just enclosed, hidden in it. And the greatest of all obstacles is the obstacle of the mind, right? We're our own worst enemies. That is, his intellect and heart are divided concerning Hashem or the tzaddik. Then when he breaks his obstacles to traveling to the true tzaddik and comes there, if his mind is divided so that he has difficult questions concerning the tzaddik, and there is crookedness in his heart with regard to the tzaddik, the obstacle stands in his way more than any other. So I just want to take a second to just like go into this, right? Like there's no greater obstacle than the obstacle of the mind. Like we tend to take everything that happens in life so seriously. Every mistake we make, every boundary we need to set, everything, like even forgiving people, right? Like everything that we go through, it seems like a huge dramatized deal. And Rebbe Nachman saying here, like it doesn't need to be. Like so many of these obstacles are really only happening in your head. I just think that if we would really like understand that things don't matter as much as we think they do, like in the scheme of the world, and like even when, we're only here for a certain amount of years, and even when we die, like the world's still going to turn and things are still going to be happening. And like, and if we would like really take like a few minutes every day to internalize this, like all our overthinking, that's the big word here, all our overthinking and all, like it would just settle. It would settle down, and like I said, we would have such an easier time forgiving people that have hurt us. And we would have also such an easier time like making boundaries that are needed to be made, because we would just move through life like with doing what's comfortable and what feels right to us in the moment, rather than all this overthinking that's making like such bigger deals of things than they need to be, Okay, so we're up to Sichot HaRan, Tanina 46, and we're up to the third section. The tzaddik. The same is true of prayer. Prayer. Initially, there are many obstacles to prayer, and afterwards, when a person overcomes them and comes to pray, if his heart is twisted and turned away from Hashem, this is the great obstacle of all. This is the greatest obstacle of all. I'm just going to skip a little. Rebbe Nachman is giving, it's like if you're not following along inside, it's just hard to explain, but he's showing how really like a twisted heart is the biggest obstacle of all. And he says a person must cry out loudly from the depths of his heart to his Father in heaven, right? Like so many times, like a person hits like a really desperate rock bottom type of situation. And like the only thing to do at that point is just to cry out to Hashem. Like you got nothing left. You don't trust yourself anymore. You are where you are. And like this difficult situation that you're in just seems way too overwhelming. And what do you have left? Just crying out to Hashem, honestly, and for real, from the depths of your heart. This is akin to the parable told in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, may the memory of the holy man and tzaddik be a blessing, about a king who placed a great treasure in a certain place and, using the power of illusion, enclosed the treasure within many walls. When people came to see these walls, it seemed to them that the walls were real and difficult to breach. Some immediately turned back. Others broke through the first wall and reached the second one, but could not breach it. A few broke through further, but could not breach the rest. Finally, the prince arrived and said, I know that all the walls are only an illusion, and in reality, there isn't any wall at all, right? So the prince knew because the king was his father, and he was able to like see through. He knew the trick, like these walls aren't real. And Rebbe Nachman's telling us the same. Like all these obstacles and all these walls that are in front of us, they're not real. Like we have insider information now. He proceeded confidently until he had passed through them all. One who is wise will understand the parable on his own as referring to all the obstacles, lures, and enticements which conceptually are walls surrounding the treasure of God-fearingness. In reality, they are nothing. The main thing is a mighty and courageous heart, as then one has no obstacles, especially the physical kind, such as an account of money, or those his wife, children, father-in-law, or parents put in his way, or something similar. They are all completely nullified when one's heart is mighty and courageous for Hashem. And even a warrior's strength stems only from the might and courage of the heart. His heart's exceptional might enables him to charge into the thick of battle, as is brought in the holy books. Right? So all these obstacles, all these difficult relationships, all these things that so many of us go through, like the main thing is a strong and courageous heart for Hashem. Okay, so I want to read one last piece. And this is Sicha number 49. And I think this is like, again, this is going to tie in, but this is like really the trick. This is really the trick to like getting through all these obstacles and like kind of what I was saying before about just not taking everything so seriously and understanding that seeing our lives like through like the whole world process, I guess. Okay, Sicha number 49. The Rebbe often spoke about his childhood piety, his awe, holiness, and alacrity. He said that he began anew many times each day with deep devotion, resolving that from then on he would be a true servant to Hashem. Then the temptation of food or such would get the better of him, and he would fall. Rebbe Nachman would fall from his high level of devotion, but on that same day he would begin again. With new resolve toward true devotion, the Rebbe would thus fall and begin anew many times each day. He often told us how he continually began serving Hashem anew. This is an important rule in devotion. Never allow yourself to slide further, even if you have already fallen in your service of Hashem or your prayer and devotion seems to be without meaning. Strengthen yourself and begin anew. Act as if you are just beginning to serve Hashem. No matter how many times you fall, rise up and start again. Do this again and again. Otherwise, you will never become a true Jew who is coming close to Hashem. Draw yourself toward Hashem with all your might. Remain strong no matter how low you fall. Whether you go up or down, always yearn to come close to Hashem. No matter how low you have sunk, stay resolved and determined to draw close to Hashem and to yearn and pine for Him and cry out to Hashem. Do everything you can to serve Him in joy. Without this inner strength, you will never be able to truly approach Hashem. So this is it. This is what Rebbe Nachman's telling us. This is what Rebbe Nachman's telling us. How do we, this is the secret, of how you can serve Hashem with joy. Through this fiery mountain, right? Through this fiery mountain, we can just begin anew. And don't even, manias could come in different ways. And Rebbe Nachman talks about this in a lot of pieces as well. Just feeling so low and so discouraged and feeling like there's no way Hashem wants anything to do with me, right? Because of your aviros or because of certain things, And again, but Rebbe Nachman saying, no, just don't even put your mind into all this overthinking. It's really quite simple. Just begin anew. Start over. You messed up. You want to do better. Go for it. That's it. Simple as that. And that's really the way to get through this fiery mountain and to get this treasure on the other side. So I want to thank you all for listening. And I just want to end with a quick bracha. Just, may we merit clarity of mind and heart to see beyond the confusion and the smoke of the fiery mountain. And may we remember that the struggle itself, it's not actually a sign that we're lost, but it's actually a sign that we're getting closer. So, and Hashem should just bless us all to just keep on going closer and closer. Okay? Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.